It's time for a board meeting. Hey everybody, we're here at the best guitar shop in all the land, Eastside Music Supply, and I'm here with my favorite employee, Zan Greene. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great.
You doing great?
I'm doing so good.
Do you like pedals?
I love them.
Me too.
You could even say that it's my job.
It is? So cool. So if you like pedals, you must have a pedal board, right?
I do.
Let's talk about it.
I would love nothing more.
Okay, well let's talk about it. That is a very tightly packed board. It looks like you do like pedals. And you
I do.
Make the most of your space, huh?
I do love to utilize every possible square inch.
That's sick.
I do have a little bit of like open space right there, but
I bet I could find something for you.
I'm sure we could figure something out.
We could rearrange that and make some more room.
Yeah.
Well, how's this thing start off?
Starts off with old reliable Boss TU2.
Boring.
You know, if you don't have a tuner on your board, like,
yeah, no headstock tuners.
Should probably start over.
Not on stage, y'all. It's not cool.
Do not pass go.
I don't care who's out there doing it.
Do not
you
collect
look
200.
dumb with a headstock tuner on stage.
But yeah, this is the longest standing pedal on my board. I think I've had that pedal since I was like 12 years old. So like 18 years.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, it sounds like this.
Perfect. You run it in bypass.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so after the TU2, I go into this really cool fuzz pedal. It's probably my favorite fuzz pedal that I've ever played, from a brand called Kogoy Musical Devices, based in North Carolina. He calls it the HSL 9000.
Yep. Yours has got more knobs on it than mine does.
It does have more knobs on it. I sent him a little Instagram message and just said, hey, I really love this pedal. I also kind of want an analog octave down, you know, kind of MXR blue box-ish or like an octavider. Nice. So he was kind enough to build an analog sub-octave circuit into the HSL 9000 and have its own foot switch so they can be run independently. But like, so the fuzz is, it's just a really great sounding fuzz. It covers so much ground. You can do the like spitty, gatey, Velcro-y sounds, or the super wide open. I've got it kind of somewhere in between right now, so it's the bias is set pretty low because I like it to gate itself, but it's still got a good bit of gain on it. And then the sub octave is, it's kind of glitchy and like kind of has those little artifacts, and it's not perfect. But that's kind of what I love about it.
Chord destroyer.
Yeah, it doesn't like multiple notes at once, but like. It does the CKY thing.
Yeah, dude. Where's your shopping cart?
But so that's the first pedal in my chain.
Word.
Then from there, I go into this other little similar looking bear enclosure guy.
What in the hell is that?
So that's another kind of custom thing that our boy DA assembled for me. The right side of it is a flanger that is envelope controlled, that the envelope controls the rate of the flanger.
Sweet.
And on this little toggle switch, you can select whether it speeds up or slows down.
Nice.
So I've got it set to where the as your pick attack triggers the envelope, it slows the flanger, and then as the note decays, it gets faster. So that sounds kind of like this.
Oh, yeah. That's a really pretty sounding flange
Yeah.
too, and I love the way that it gets weird on its decay.
Yeah.
Envelope on everything, always, if I had my way with it. That's sick.
Yeah, and it has this weird little like artifact thing to it. It's doing that little trickly, rainy kind of sound.
Yeah, little swooshies.
Which is like, some people might dislike that, but I think it adds a little fun character to it.
Yeah, some people dislike a lot of the things that make amps and guitars and pedals things. It's like you hear about people that complain about their tube amp being a little loud when it's on and they have an overdrive on, and it's like, this is too loud and just chilling here, and it's like, you're running a tube amp.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
doing
part
what
of
it,
it.
it's doing what it's
Part
supposed
of
to
it.
do.
It's part of it. A little noise is okay, y'all. It's okay.
Yeah. So the right side of it is the flanger.
Yep.
The left side is a modified Behringer Super Fuzz circuit. So I love that pedal. It's a great, like, cheap fuzz. DA added an octave up into that. So
Sweet.
I've got it on the boost mode right now. So it's just like, it's more boost than fuzz, but it's also got that octave on it.
Yeah.
I don't really ever use it by itself. It's more just to like run with other distortions to just like thicken it up like crazy, but that's what it sounds like right now.
That sounds sick.
Yeah.
Was that just that circuit
Yeah,
by itself?
that's just the circuit by itself. But
Nice.
like, I'll run it with the HSL. So that sub octave with the upper octave, it's like very glitchy and imperfect, but it's super thick and
fighting for space in
Yeah.
a really cool way.
yeah.
Nice.
So
What's the middle foot switch do on it?
that is to turn the envelope on or off.
Oh, okay, rad.
So, I mean, if I turn it off right now, it's gonna sound really weird. Just because I've got it set for the envelope, but it can do just like the classic flanger thing as well if I wanted to.
That's awesome. DA is a freaking guy
Yeah.
doing sweet stuff.
I've gotten in the bad habit of asking people to do difficult things for me. Like John Kogoy was saying, he was like, man, the sub-octave thing was really fun to make, but I don't think I'll do it again. And DA was, when I was kind of like workshopping this pedal idea with him, he was like, man, I don't know if we're gonna be able to fit all of this.
Well, it's a giant ass enclosure, but it's got a lot of shit in it. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with it. And I love using that Super Fuzz with my main distortion, just for like super huge wall of sound kind of chords.
That's really
and everything. And I used to have a chorus on the board, but I found myself using the flanger instead of the chorus more often. So I just took the chorus off and just used that.
Very cool.
Yeah. So next, I go into this little Ibanez LS10 loop selector.
Yep.
And I probably use that pedal more than anything on the board, because I've got two parallel loops that one is like instant ambient tone and the other is like my main like distortion that I use with my band.
Yeah.
So I can just like toggle between really easily, so I don't have to do a ton of tap dancing, but I also don't want to deal with like a giant loop switcher.
Sure.
So the main first loop in this loop selector goes out to the Old Blood Noise Endeavor's Sunlight, which then goes into the AC Noises Recorda. So that's like just my instant ambient.
That's cool. Those pedals work really well together too.
Yeah, the Recorda's doing the like granular, twinkly thing. And the sunlight is just a really great sounding reverb. I've got it on the tape mode right now for just like some slow vibrato kind of warble. And they both have freeze functions. So
nice.
What I'll do a lot of times, like when we're playing live, is like for between song sections, I'll like freeze a note in the sunlight.
Yeah.
And so then I can be playing.
Yeah.
And we finish the song, and I just trigger that, and it immediately is like a little bit of noise while we're tuning and stuff.
Yeah. Very cool.
But yeah, and then I can also freeze a note in the recorda if I want to. But yeah, I use that a lot. Then the second loop in the loop selector is going into the Empress Heavy Menace with the Done Effects Death Knob after it. So that's like my main distortion tone that I use with my band Moru. And it sounds like this.
That is really gnarly. The Heavy Menace is so sick. The Heavy was rad, and then when they came out with that, the gate is so incredibly tight and wonderful, and it's just super versatile. The death, what's it sound like without the death knob on it? Like, how do you have it set?
It sounds great without the death knob. Just a huge distortion.
Yeah.
The gate is super tight and responsive. And it's also like really loud in the room right now, and it's not feeding back at all. So.
Sure, and so then the death knob has got that HM2 style EQ to just kind of stick you out in there.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to be 100% HM2 all the time. I like to just have the blend knob at like 9 o'clock, just kind of kissing it with a little bit of the upper
little
mids.
saw. That is not a kiss. That is more of a bite.
Yeah, it is more of a bite, but yeah, it just kind of just pokes everything straight through the mix.
Yeah, the pedals are great for that.
Very grindy. So
you got recorda and sunlight in one loop, and then you've got Heavy Menace and death knob in the other loop.
Right.
And that's it.
Right.
And then so from there, then we're going to leave the loop selector, I'm imagining.
Correct.
And where are we going next?
Then we go to the volume pedal.
Boring.
Boring. Yeah.
Just kidding. It's fantastic.
I like to run my volume pedal after my dirts, just so I can do like swells with distortion already on it.
Yep. You got a volume knob if you want to, for the gain side of things. So
I've never been much of the kind of person to like ride my volume knob. I pretty much just always have it dimed if I'm playing.
Sure.
And so if I'm adjusting volume at all, it's probably just to either mute myself or just to do a swell into something.
Nice.
But yeah, so I'll use that just to swell.
Nice. Yeah.
So after the volume pedal, I'm going into the Chase Bliss Billy Strings signature wombtone.
Love that pedal. Just kind of low and slow kind of phase. Yeah. Do you use the envelope on that at all, or you just kind of have a set where you like it?
I just kind of have it set where I like it. I like the envelope, but I don't really use that a whole lot.
Sure.
I may end up using it one day. Maybe I'll put a little Chase Bliss Faves switch or something in that tiny little zone that's open, so I can have like an envelope little whackle kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that about the Chase Bliss pedals is they're deceptive to some people because they see all the knobs and dip switches and they think that, oh my gosh, I can't just have this simple sound, and it's like, no, you totally can. Like, leave the dip switches alone, don't freak out, and you have a beautiful, classic, simple phaser sound dialed in. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, that's kind of been my sales pitch, I guess, to a lot of people that are hesitant about the Chase Bliss pedals because there's so much going on. Is I always look at every one of their pedals as like layers of ascending complexity, but like you don't have to get into the weeds with it, because just everything at face value, just those knobs, it already sounds awesome and does a lot of cool things. And then if you want to go past that and use the dip switches, you can, but you don't have to immediately understand what everything is doing.
It's always, it's nice to have more than you need out of a pedal.
Exactly.
Especially doing anything in the studio or wanting to experiment and get weird sounds, and it's kind of like, oh, this can do that too. And you don't need something else to wig out with it. It can kind of wig out if you want it to on its own.
Right. I kind of feel that way about almost all of the pedals on my board, is like they all have the capability to go beyond what I need. And like, even though I don't think I'll ever need that, it's nice that I have the option. Like I'm a more knobs the better kind of person. But I don't like screens.
Zan loves knobs.
I love knobs. I don't like screens. I feel like if I see a screen on a pedal, I'm like, my brain just immediely is turned off, because I look at screens enough already. You know?
I get it.
We're so buried in our phones.
It's also very true. You don't need to look at a screen when you're looking at your board. I get it. I've got a little bit of a mixed feeling on that. I appreciate a screen on some pedals because you really
some pedals
need it.
Sometimes you need it.
But yeah, the menu diving can hinder the moment of creativity sometimes, where you're just trying to plug and play and you're like, oh, but I can explore and get this sound if I start digging into this menu and scrolling through stuff. And sometimes that's part of the fun. I feel like sometimes I enjoy building my board almost as much as I enjoy playing it afterwards. Routing and thinking about the creative ways to use it and stuff. And I will definitely get stuck with a pedal with the screen, just noodling around for a very long time.
Yeah, I feel like when I start to scroll through like sub menus on things, I get a little bit of paralysis by analysis, and I'm just like, there's too many options. I don't know what to do with this now. But which is kind of contradictory.
That's like when I'm trying to find something to listen to on Spotify or whatever. There's too many options. But you go to the record shelf and I'm like, that looks perfect. Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So anyway, wombtone is an awesome phaser.
Awesome phaser. Joel rules. Billy rules. Everybody at Chase Bliss rules. It sounds great.
They're great. Speaking of Chase Bliss, onward to the
onward to the Therme.
The Therme is the next in the chain. It's my favorite analog delay pedal for sure, by far. I don't have it doing any pitch shifting currently. I've got the little modulation dip switch flipped on the back of that, which pro tip for any delay people, if you get a Therme and you just flip the modulation dip switch, it's a tonal recall.
It's fantastic, and that was one of my favorite things about that pedal too. Another one of those things with so many options, more than you need. Everyone's like, oh, I don't need my delay to bleep bloop all over the place. Therme is not for me. And it's kind of like,
you don't have to
hey,
do that.
buddy, those octaves turn into modulation control. And it's a fantastic analog delay.
Right, so I've got the modulation dip switch flipped on that one. So it's not doing any pitch shifting. The pitch shift knobs are now just rate and depth.
I love that.
So, and
What's it sound like?
It sounds like this. So I've got the
nice little fast wobble in the background.
A little wobble. And I've got the low pass filter set pretty low because I like my delay repeats to be pretty dark, especially with a ton of distortion run into it. It can get like a little piercing. I like the delay repeats to kind of cruise underneath everything that I'm doing.
So these are outside of the line selector, so you can run all of this fun stuff on the left side of your board with your dirt.
Exactly.
So that's cool. What's it sound like with a little gain on it?
With
How
a
do you
little
show me
gain.
a little example of how you use that? That's awesome. Yeah. Very cool.
Little wobble, little filter action going on. Nice and dark. So coming out of the Therme, I then go into the Strymon El Capistan.
Classic.
V1. Not for any particular reason, just because I didn't want to spend more money to get the newest version.
Sure.
But yeah, I've got it just set on a pretty standard.
A little more prominent repeats. This kind of more of your like, I want this to be a delay and not kind of like a subtle reverby delay underneath.
Yeah, this one is a lot more up front. And then in conjunction with the El Capistan, up here I've got the Strymon favorite switch. So, which my favorite setting that I've got saved on that is the sound on sound
Your
mode.
favorite setting?
My favorite setting.
That's a perfect thing to put on the favorite switch.
Yeah. But yeah, so I can instantly just switch into sound on sound mode and go.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I'll do that when we're playing live. There's a couple sections in some of our songs where I like to loop a thing and let it. I love the sound on sound mode on that because it doesn't just do looping. It starts to like decay.
Degrade and
which is perfect for the applications that we do.
Nice. Do you use the reverb in it at all?
Not really.
That's one thing on the V2. You've got the spring reverb control as opposed to having to hit this hidden function to add. So if you don't use it, don't need it.
I mean, it could be cool to have it.
We haven't talked about any reverbs yet, Zan. What happens
Well, I mean, we
after
talked about the sunlight.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it is. That's
but I do have more reverbs.
Let's talk about those. Is that where it goes next?
Yes. So after the El Capistan, I go into the Catalan bred Cloak, which is a Shimmer reverb. Which I'm not usually much of a shimmer kind of person. I feel like most octave reverbs are usually like too piercing. But the cool thing about the Cloak is it has a high cut knob, so you can kind of tame that really like shrill high octave part. So I usually use that in conjunction with the Therme for like little leads that I want to poke out a little bit with that high octave and add a little extra texture to it.
Give me an example of that.
I would do something like I forgot how to play. Yeah.
Just adding just an extra little bit of sweetness on there.
Yeah, just kind of adds a little extra space to it, a little extra texture.
Yep.
But again, with the filter run low on the Therme and the high cut on the Cloak, it kind of balances out the like high mids coming through from the distortion sound.
Sure. Yeah, and that's I agree with you as far as shimmer reverbs are concerned. They're cool. When used appropriately, they're very often overused, but having control of that high cut is really nice because it can kind of create a bed as opposed to like taking precedence over the sound and being like, here is the upper octave. Sometimes you just need a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I am definitely guilty of like when the Strymon Blue Sky came out originally, I immediately bought it, and everything that I played for years had the shimmer on.
Everybody did.
Yeah, because it was like I've never heard anything.
It's a fun pedal. It can be fun, but again, just often kind of like, I don't know. It's almost like at this point of effects and where guitar music has gone, it's like hearing a oscillating analog delay. It sounds cool. You don't have to do it all the time,
right?
You know,
yeah.
and it, like it's in the appropriate context, it is like the perfect thing.
Exactly.
But it can quickly be like, okay, buddy.
Yeah, it's such a prominent effect. Like it's very pronounced every time you hear it, that it can become overdone very quickly.
Yep.
But yeah, so after the cloak, I end the chain with the Licklarm Audio Transcendence.
Yeah.
Which is another reverb. It's got a couple different modulation modes on it. I love the sample and hold filter mode on it, but I don't use that as much. I kind of use it for the collapse mode, which is like kind of a hybrid between bit crushed and ring mod, kind of degraded, nasty kind of sounding modulation.
Nice.
But it seems to be a little bit like, it kind of seems to follow the notes. Like it never sounds like out of tune or something. Like I feel like a lot of ring mods can end up making it sound like you're playing a different note.
Yes.
Whereas this one seems to kind of follow your playing. I don't know if that
cool.
was intentional on Daniel's part, but that's just something that I've kind of noticed. And the thing that I like about it, especially usually playing heavy music, I love ambient stuff and really pretty delays and reverbs. And this one does that very well, but the collapse mode kind of makes it a little nastier.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think it's a little more well suited to ambient music in the context of extreme music.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah, well, he's definitely, all the Licklarm stuff, when people, you know, see the brand or hear the name, they immediately think, you know, extreme metal, heavy. But he makes fantastic clean effects as well.
I mean, all three of his reverb pedals are some of my favorite reverbs out there.
Yeah.
And as soon as I plugged in the Transcendence, I was immediately like, I have to get this.
Yeah,
and
we were all smitten by that one when it got here.
Yeah,
it's a
because
really cool pedal.
It does things that I don't think I've ever heard any reverb pedal do, especially in the collapse mode. But the sample and hold filter mode is also like a pretty unique sound.
Nice.
But so this is what the collapse mode sounds like.
Yep.
So it's just like, it just makes it sound a little degraded and
That's really cool. I know what you're saying too, because the ring mod effect is there, but it's not really changing the pitch at all. And sometimes when you get the ring mod at that certain speed, kind of takes over into like robot land, which is cool. But sometimes you'll be playing an A and it's kind of giving you C sharp vibe or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
That's really cool sounding.
I just recently like actually learned how a ring mod does that. Like when you take any sort of modulation, like a tremolo or something, and it's at a certain speed, it's like vibrating at the frequency of a specific note. You know, like it's like, this is like getting into like physics and stuff. But
Nerd shit. With Zan.
Yeah.
Nerd shit 101.
But like you take hertz, which is just vibrations per second, and if you have a tremolo that is pulsing at 440 pulses per second, it's gonna make an A.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, how about that? All I know is that shit sounds pretty good to me.
It does sound pretty good. But yeah, so I like to do that with like a bunch of the ambient stuff.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's Therme, El Cap, and the Transcendence.
Oh, that's sunlight, recorda, Therme, El Cap, Transcendence.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun shit. And sometimes people don't realize that you can have that many ambient things on at the same time, and they work really well together.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely start to get into where everything's just kind of tripping over each other, and it just sounds like a garbled mess. But it's kind of a balancing act of keeping everything tamed down to where it'll play nicely with others.
Yes, very cool. What is that little green thing, Zan?
My dad got himself a 3D printer for Christmas this past year.
Nice.
And he saw that I posted on Instagram when I did this most recent board setup. And I used to have like a little Altoids tin on my pedal board for picks, but I didn't have room for it on this board. And he messaged me and was like, I saw you didn't have your Altoids tin. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't have room for it. And he said, I see a little space between the El Capistan and the Transcendence. I could print you a pick box.
Nice.
So yeah, he printed me this little pick box, and I've got all my favorite picks in there.
That's so perfect.
Yeah.
Good job, Dad.
Yeah.
Good job.
Shout out, Dad. But yeah, maybe I'll have him print me another little thing to fill that spot between.
You can put like your earplugs in there or something.
I've got my earplugs on my keychain,
Yeah.
but maybe I'll put them on the board instead.
Yeah. Well, dude, this is freaking sweet.
Thank you.
It's a great rig.
I'm very happy with it.
You should be. It looks like you've worked hard to dial in your sounds. Everything plays nice together. I love the dual loop, kind of like the one switch to go from like fuck you to I'm sorry. And I really think that's great. You got some cool stuff here, man. Zan Greene plays in a rad ass band called Moru. We're gonna drop the links in the comments and all of that stuff, because this is YouTube and that's what you do. Like and subscribe or whatever. I don't fucking know. Anyways, it's time for you to unplug your shit and get back to work, because we open in a little bit. And you guys, I'll see you at the next board meeting. Don't be late.